Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ranger's Respite. I'm Philip, and today is Friday. That means that it's time for another Whiskey Library review. This is number 54, and I'm talking about the other Three Guys, One Grain Barrel Pick. This one is called Schmilky Way, but before I get into that, ladies and gentlemen, I have a little bit of news. So, on the 1st of June, the Virginia Whiskey Tournament kicks off. Haven't heard back from any of the distilleries that I've emailed, but that's okay. They don't really need any involvement in the proceedings. Because this is about you guys, telling the world which distillery you love. So, I still haven't ordered the trophy yet. I'm going to. It's happening this week. But if you want to support this channel, what I do, liking, commenting, and subscribing do a lot. And if you want to directly support the Virginia Whiskey Tournament, I am selling t-shirts. This one is really cool. It has the Jefferson Cup trophy. It says Virginia Whiskey Champion, and beside it has the winners and the year, starting with 2022 Falls Church Distillers, 23 Catoctin Creek, 24 J.H. Bard's, 25 Virginia Distillery Company, and this year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, year number 5 of the competition. It's up to you. So there's a link, as always, in the description down below, and also a link to Etsy where you can buy these cool pens. Until next time. No, I'm out of sync because I did my edit at the end of last week's video, or Wednesday's video. I'm tired, guys. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. But I'm excited to talk about this. This is one of the last batches, one of the last single barrels of the Distillerie Acadian Vale, American Single Malt Whiskey. This is barrel number 45. It's called Schmilky Way. It is 62.05% alcohol by volume, or 124.1 proof. I'd like to just say I kind of like the Distillerie Acadian labels. They have a nice texture to them. They're not super shiny. I like them. So let's talk about the whiskey in the glass. Now, this is not nearly as dark as the port finish batch 3, Guys One Grain. But it's got this nice coppery color. On the nose, it is interesting. So, I've been kind of waiting to talk about this one. There's a reason why I started with the port cask finish. I took these to D&D with me. And kind of surprisingly and also not surprisingly, the port cask was the winner between these two. And one of my players definitely was like, okay, Raisin Bran makes sense. It looks like Raisin Bran, tastes kind of like Raisin Bran. This one, they weren't picking up on the like high quality chocolatier take on a Milky Way like I was, and like Doug Germ and Randall were. What my players commented on was it is very oak forward, and I have to admit that there is some more prominent oak tannin in this, but that like bright caramel, the darker roasted cocoa-y notes, the sort of creamy vanilla notes, those are all primarily barrel notes. I mean, the cocoa-y note is probably the barley. And there's something in there that brings to mind the like cordial cherries. on the palate. Again, this is kind of oak forward, and I can see why my D&D players were less fond of this than they were of the port finish. But it's got some really interesting, excellent notes, and I think I agree with the guys. This is definitely more of a whiskey drinker or specifically single malt drinker focused release. There is a note in there that I identify as being the Distillerie Acadian um, thumbprint, if that makes sense. And it is what pops as the bran flakes in the raisin dram. But here it's like uh um like malt, like sort of a whoppery note, but sort of like imagine a wafer of Whopper. Like instead of the nougat. Like imagine a Milky Way where instead you had like a wafer of like malted milk ball material, a heavy layer of rich caramel dipped into dark chocolate. Maybe with like a drizzle of like cordial or cherry cordial somewhere in there. Some I don't know why I'm picking up so heavily on that, but I am. The finish is a little bit more bittersweet than the raisin ram. It is definitely, this is where the cocoa note really sort of like almost drops into like a bitter coffee note, and the caramel note kind of like darkens as well. So the finish is very like coffee forward and a little bit bitter and not too sweet. But it's got a little bit of oiliness to like make it linger a little bit more than some of the other drams that I've had recently. I will say the other factor in this is the um the raisin dram is cask strength. It's 61.3. It's not much less than the Schmilky Way. But the Schmilky Way somehow, that wasn't me. If you guys hear crashing noise, that isn't me. I promise. Um, but the Schmilky Way, for some reason, is just a tad, maybe a hair more drying in the mouth, and that sort of leads to, or not leads to, but sort of adds to the oak forwardness in a way that I can absolutely understand why the less whiskey prone or whiskey less likely to drink whiskey members of my party were were more impressed with the raisin dram, if that makes sense. Also, a little more time in the glass to open up really helps the barrel number 45. I can't explain why, but like the raisin dram, good to go right off the bat. Um, the barrel 45 needs a little bit of time to like warm up and like stretch. I really like it. Um, it is, I think, maybe not the most approachable dram, but if you like that like nice oak punchiness, then this one will be pretty enjoyable. Hmm. Also, I talked one of my former bosses into buying a bottle, and I'm looking forward to hearing what he thinks about it because I know that he prefers a more oaky whiskey, and I think that this is kind of more in his alley. So, with all that out of the way, I always ask and answer 3 questions. The first one being, did I enjoy this whiskey? And absolutely, yes, I did. It's dense with flavor. Is it's sort of a category where I can absolutely see this being sessionable. But also, I don't mind sitting here, sipping it slowly, letting it coat my palate, and enjoying all the little flavors I can tease out of it. I really like it, and that's enough for me. Second question, is it a good value? Again, a single barrel, cask strength American single malt from a distillery that is, from this point forward, not going to be regularly producing American single malt. $65. That is, I think, impossible to beat. I think that this was an excellent value. Um, Unfortunately, only 36 bottles of this were produced, and all 36 have sold. So there aren't going to be any more on the market. And for that, I am I have mixed feelings about. Like, having something that's super limited is very cool, but also, like, I don't know, kinda want more people to have the chance to try it, if that makes sense. Third and final question is, do I recommend it? And this one is, again, a moot point because you can't get this anymore. It's disappointing and unfortunate, but it is what it is. And if you want to try something from Distillerie Acadian, their Cajun cut bourbon is very good. It's a little bit different, but very good. I recommend it. I think that that covers everything that I need to cover. So, ladies and gentlemen, just really quick before I go, Monday, Virginia Whiskey Tournament starts. You can support it by buying merch from Spreadshop in the link below. I did all the art for these myself. I'm going to be designing some more just because. I've got currently one other shirt design, and that's Virginia Whiskey Tournament, and one that is just general Rangers Respite channel. It is my new channel logo. I need to tweak that design a little bit, but I really like it. I'm proud of it, and I hope that you guys would be proud to wear some of my merch. So, ladies and gentlemen, all that out of the way. Until next time, stay happy, stay geeks. Slancha.